So do you have something that you want to bring into your life, but you're unsure about how to make that happen? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one conversation that literally changed my entire life. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'll share that conversation with you in just a moment. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to make sure that you get regular updates. This is Simon Lovell bringing you growth in under 10 minutes. So let's wind back the clock to the age of 13. I was at school with my friend Paul, and we used to love playing video games. And so while I was being bullied, and it was kind of traumatic at that age through an event that happened, which I shared in another video, but I loved playing video games, and that was my, isolation. That was a thing that I just got down and I focused on. And so we produced this monthly magazine called Megabyte, and so we used the school photocopiers, and we put our magazine together, and every single month we would take that up, and a few copies were sold, and it was just this achievement of reviewing these video games. But what we did was we phoned up very confidently as 13-year-old boys, and we phoned up the software producers of these video games, and they would send us these games for free. So imagine now we're producing this magazine, we're getting these games for free, all because we had the courage to actually make the phone calls and just make it happen. So that was a great piece of the story, but there's this other big piece, which was this desire within me to write for these magazines that I used to read. And, every single month I would buy this magazine called Games World. And I had this dream of being, a staff member on this magazine. Why? Because I'd be reviewing video games for my career. And I just loved this idea of that. So from the age of around kind of 14, 15, I would phone up the editor of this publication. Now, I was kind of bordering on, being super persistent and also kind of like on that edge, but it wasn't enough for him to say, don't call me again. And so I would just be really persistent. And at the age of 16, I got hired for the dream magazine that I always wanted to work on, which was called Games World. And when I got hired, and this was on a super low wage, but it was just doing what I loved, playing video games, I asked him a question, which is, why did you hire me? And one of the most powerful things that we can do is in a situation, which is ask really powerful questions. So I was like, hey, why did you hire me? And this was the answer that really changed my whole life, I think, moving forward with my perspective on certain situations. He said, Simon, I could have hired someone who had great writing experience. And I'll be honest with you and tell you that you aren't a great writer, but you had that passion within you. And I would rather have someone that had that passion that I could teach on the job than have someone that could write but didn't have that drive and that enthusiasm. And that shifted me, because then that helped me move forward when I went to get my book deal in the UK with HarperCollins. Every time I got a no, I continued and I continued until I got a yes. You see, oftentimes success is on that 7th rung, right? But we only go to the 5th or 6th step, right? And we push forward, but it's right there. And so understand that there's nothing wrong with persistence, right? There's nothing wrong with having this drive and this determination to get what you want. And especially when it comes to, getting a job or whatever you desire, oftentimes I have conversations with people, and it's like, if you want to stand out and have a better shot of getting a job, don't do what everyone else is doing, right? If they want a CV, then send in a video, right? Just showcase yourself differently. But that takes courage, it takes persistence, and it takes a different level of thinking. So understand that if you have an intensity of desire, if you have enough passion for something, then that will drive you through, because people feel that, employers feel that, people who are running a business or doing whatever it is, right? Whether that's in a relationship or something else, people feel the energy of passion. People feel that desire. But if we don't have that, right, we can't bring that into the mix. So with this thing that you desire, with this thing that you want, I want to ask you a couple of questions. How much passion is there within you for it? The second thing is, which is how far have you pushed it, and how persistent have you been? Could you make that extra phone call? Could you go that extra mile? Is there some kind of fear which is created a statement which is like, they don't want to hear from me, or I must be bothering them? That's a big challenge for a lot of people, right? It's that I must be bothering them. I don't want to express myself or bring something up because I'm going to be a nuisance. Sometimes being a nuisance, being persistent, can be the best thing we ever do. I'll see you in another video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and also the bell to make sure that you get regular updates. I'll see you very soon. Take it easy.